Hi friends, welcome back for another video, or welcome if you're new. My name is Shelby, this is True North Budgets. My fiance Tanner and I are on a journey to pay off our debt, catch up in our sinking funds, and just set ourselves up to start our marriage off on the right foot as we are getting married in just a couple of months. We do all things budgeting on this channel. We will do budget with me's, which is actually what this video is. Then we'll have cash stuffings, cash unstuffings, and occasionally we might do a cash condensing as well. So if any of that content sounds like it's interesting to you, please stick around. But today we are going to do a budget with me for the 5th week of May. I do have a little bit of a unicorn of a month this month. We actually have 6 pay periods in the month of May, and that is because I base our calendar off of Tanner's pay cycle, which is bi-weekly, and he has 3 checks within the month of May, but my pay cycle is weekly, and I currently am collecting unemployment after I was laid off from my job back in February, and I am also working as a delivery driver for Spark, and both of those are paid weekly. So with Tanner's 3 checks, that means there are 6 checks for me. But anyways, let me go ahead and get you guys zoomed in so that you can see my page a little bit better, and then we'll jump right into it. Okay, so starting off with our income at the top here, this is my custom planner as well. I am working on getting a custom listing put up on my Etsy store that's linked in every video, so keep an eye on my store for that to come. There's currently some cash envelopes listed as well as some party supply type things, but if you're interested in a custom planner, then keep an eye on my shop for that to get listed. But for right now, it is not listed. But again, this is one of my planner inserts. This is the paycheck breakdown, and it is double-sided. But for income, we have Tanner's paycheck plus the rollover from last week. So his paycheck was estimated to be about $1,300. It's usually a little bit more than that. It'll probably be around $1,330. And then rolling over from last week, we had 1,073 rolling over from last week. So that added together is 2,373. And then for my unemployment and Spark income, I'm expecting $1,008 for the 5th week. Moving into our bills section, this is everything that we have to pay every month that's not considered a debt. The only thing on our bills list that's considered a debt would be like our car payments. The only one we have coming out for, or I guess we have two coming out for week 5. We have our water bill and we have our rent that we have to pay. Our water bill, we budget $60, and our rent, we pay $875. Our water bill will probably be a few dollars less than that, but our rent will be $875 exactly. If we total up that section, that ends up equaling 60 plus 875 ends up equaling $935. And then moving into our subscriptions section, we have SiriusXM, and this is for both of our vehicles. We have HBO, and then we have Netflix, and that's it. That's coming out with week 5. My mom does pay for part of our Netflix, but I just budget and say like I'm paying the whole thing just in case she forgets, so then I know I know that I have enough in our account to cover that. She typically doesn't forget, but I just want to make sure that we have enough there. So SiriusXM for 2 vehicles is $36, and then HBO is $17, and Netflix is, we budgeted $25. It's actually $26.98, so it was a little bit more. Our bill just went up, and I thought that I increased it enough, but I miscalculated, so that's fine. We'll add that up. We have 36, 17, and 25. That equals 78. How's your guys' week been going? It is Wednesday for me that I'm filming this, so I'm filming it a little bit ahead of time, but I try not to film on the weekends, and I consider a weekend Thursday through Saturday, just because that's Tanner's days off. So I try not to do any type of filming related content then, just because I want to spend as much time with him on his days off as possible. So our working days are considered Sunday through Wednesday in our house. But how's your guys' week been? Do you have any fun plans for the weekend? How was your Memorial Day? I hope that it was meaningful for everybody and that you all had good time with family and were able to remember those that we have lost. But yes, let's see here. So we'll go down into our debt section. And that's here at the bottom. We have 4 debt payments coming out with this week's check. We have our US bank payment, Advantage, which is Tanner's student loans. I have one of my Upstart loans and my one main loan. So US bank, we budgeted 80. Advantage, we budgeted 108. Upstart, we budgeted 36. And one main, we budgeted 170. So the total for this bottom debt section is 80, 108, 36, and 170. So that equals 394 total. Then we jump up and over to our variables. So these categories stay the same for us every single week. However, the amounts differ. We always budget for gas, groceries, and eating out. Those are our variable expenses. So it's just the things that we budget an amount for, but the amount that we're spending each week varies. So it's not like our bills where we're spending a set amount each month. We might budget $30 for gas, but only spend $20, kind of thing. So this week for gas, we are budgeting it's going to look a little funky. I'm going to start having some change because we're getting to the end of the month. And with Spark, I put percentages towards certain categories. So that's kind of how the change works out. But it will all work out in the end of the month. So for gas, we have $114.30. For groceries, we're going to do $200. And then for eating out, we will do $20. So that equals 334. Whoops. 34. That looks a little sloppy. And 30 cents. I'll fix it later. So now we're going to find out what's remaining so that we know how much left we have to budget for our savings categories. So how we do that is we'll take our total income, the $3,381, and we're going to subtract out each section total. So 3381 minus 935 leaves us with 2446. And then we take out the 78 for subscriptions is 2368. And then we take out 394 for debt is 1974. And then we take out the 334.30 is 1639.70 is what's left to put towards our sinking funds and savings. Some of the categories that we are going to be saving for this week is going to be taxes. That is one that I will save for every single week because my Spark income is untaxed, so I have to set that aside on its own so I don't end up being up a creek without a paddle at tax time. And then car maintenance is one that I do put a percentage of my Spark income towards just because I'm using my vehicle more. So I will need to do oil changes more frequently. I'll need to replace my tires more frequently, just all those types of car maintenance things. So I want to make sure that I'm saving up for those. And then we will put a little bit into clothes this week. We'll do a little bit into dates, self-care, and then Tanner and I will each get a little bit of spending money this week. And then we'll move into some of our wedding categories. We have bride is going to get stuffed this week. We have the shower, my bridal shower, and we have gifts for the wedding. So we'll say wedding gifts. So taxes is going to get $75.90. Now, when I do my cash stuffing, I'm not going to be cash stuffing the change. I will just be accounting for that change on my expense tracker for each of those categories, if that makes sense. And then car maintenance will get 130 cents. Clothes will get 70 and 75 cents. Dates is going to get 50. Self-care will get 55. Tanner and I will both get 10. And then bride is going to get 45. Sorry about the traffic today, guys. Shower is going to get 26. And then wedding gifts will get $111.75. So let's go ahead and add all of this up and make sure that we are under that $1639.70. $75.90. Whoops. Plus 130, 70.75 plus 50 plus 55, 10 and 10, 45, 26, 111.75. Leaves us with 500. That total is $554.70. So see that 70 cents takes away from the 70 cents up here. So we have $1639.70 minus $554.70 leaves us with $1,085. That will go into week 6 for May. So in week 6 of May, that budget with me is going to look a little bit different. I'm going to have final numbers for everything, and we will budget out every last penny that we've made for this month. So you guys will actually get to see, well, actually let me know how you would like to see that. Would you like to see the full numbers in the budget with me for week 6? Or would you prefer that I do my regular budget with me with my original estimated numbers and then do a monthly closeout for the entire month of May? Let me know your guys' thoughts. I can do either way. But either way, we will be budgeting out every single penny for the month of May. So you will get to see that full, how much I've made in Spark, how much Tanner actually brought home, and it'll just kind of depend on the type of videos that you guys are interested in. So I can do just a regular weekly budget with me for week 6 and then a monthly closeout for the month of May. Or I can do an entire remaining income budget with me for week 6. So I guess let me know what you guys prefer. But we do have $1,085 that will carry over to week 6. I've said this in other videos. I'm not super concerned about having a zero-based budget from week to week as long as our month is zeroed out. So if we need to roll over a little bit of money from week to week to make sure that we are covering future higher expenses, like next week in week 6, I will not have Tanner's income to budget with. So it will just be actually, I don't have very much Spark income for next week either because I stopped the dates based on when I would get paid out for them. So I get paid out on Wednesdays for Spark. So my last Spark paycheck for the month will be on June 11th, but the dates that are counted in that go through June 8th. So I believe the only day for week 6 that's counting, let me just glance at my sheet here. Yeah, I only have one day of Spark that's counting for income for week 6, and that's $100. So we'll kind of just have to go from there. And then I do have my unemployment, so that'll be $693, and then we'll have this rollover. So all the income that we're working with next week is $1,778. But we do have other bills, like my car payment is kind of higher. It's about $527. That's our biggest bill, but we do have just some of those other bigger expenses next week that we need to be able to account for. So you'll get to see all of that in the week 6 budget with me. But yeah, that's all that I have for this week's video. I hope that you guys enjoyed. If you made it to the end, thank you so much for sticking around. Leave a heart in the comments. Let me know your favorite part, and I will catch you guys next time. Bye.